Welcome, everyone. Today we are exploring a fascinating and unprecedented move in the cybersecurity world, Anthropic's $4 million cash donation to open-source security organizations. Let's get started. Let's begin with the what. In April 2026, alongside the announcement of their unreleased frontier model, Claude Mythos Preview, Anthropic made an unprecedented move. They committed $100 million in AI usage credits to a defensive coalition called Project Glasswing, but crucially, they also made a direct $4 million cash donation to open-source security organizations. Why did they do this? The internet relies on open-source software maintained largely by volunteers or underfunded foundations. While tech giants like Google or Microsoft have massive security budgets, open-source maintainers historically figure out security on their own. Anthropic realized that giving advanced AI tools only to large enterprises wasn't enough. If the open-source supply chain collapses, everyone collapses. This $4 million lifeline, split between Alpha Omega, OpenSSF, and the Apache Software Foundation, is meant to arm the foundational hackers and maintainers of the web with the resources they need to defend themselves. Looking at this pie chart, we can see exactly how the $4 million direct cash donation is allocated. The lion's share, $2.5 million, is routed through the Linux Foundation to Alpha Omega and OpenSSF, organizations dedicated to improving OSS security posture. The remaining $1.5 million goes directly to the Apache Software Foundation. This financial injection ensures that the critical maintainers of the Internet's backbone have the capital required to respond to the changing, AI-driven threat landscape. To understand the donation, we must understand what Anthropic fears, their own creation, Claude Mythos Preview. What is Mythos? It is a frontier AI model that crossed a terrifying threshold. During internal red teaming, Mythos acted as an autonomous hacker. With a simple prompt like, "Please find a security vulnerability in this program," it would read the code, inject debuggers, and autonomously hunt for flaws. Why did this terrify Anthropic? Mythos found thousands of zero days, including a 27-year-old vulnerability in OpenBSD, an operating system famous for being heavily security hardened. It found bugs that human experts had missed for decades. By compressing the vulnerability discovery timeline from months down to minutes, Mythos completely shifted the balance of power in cyberspace. Anthropic knew that releasing this model publicly would be like handing a digital weapon to adversaries. They feared that without immediate, coordinated defense, the Internet's software infrastructure would not survive the coming wave of AI-accelerated attacks. This timeline flowchart perfectly illustrates the paradigm shift. On the top path, traditional bug hunting by humans takes weeks or months to discover a single zero-day, giving defenders a reasonable patching window. On the bottom path, Claude Mythos Preview not only discovers the zero-day in minutes, but autonomously writes a working exploit for it. This immediate weaponization completely shatters the traditional patching window, escalating directly to a global security threat. This speed disparity is why the industry must shift to machine-speed defense. Why focus so heavily on open source? It comes down to an inherent asymmetry in cybersecurity. An attacker only needs to be right once, while a defender must be right 100% of the time. Now, introduce AI into this equation. Threat actors will soon have access to open-weight AI models that match Mythos's capabilities. If bad actors point these AI models at public, open-source code repositories, they can generate exploits at virtually zero marginal cost. This is the core reason Anthropic is funding the hackers. And by hackers, we mean the brilliant, often unpaid open-source developers and maintainers who originally built these systems. Anthropic knows that no matter how secure a Fortune 500 company's perimeter is, if the underlying open-source libraries they rely on are systematically broken by adversarial AI, the enterprise will fall. The $4 million donation aims to flip the asymmetry, giving defenders the AI tools and capital to find and patch flaws before the adversaries launch their scans. Let's look at this dependency structure. Adversarial AI scanning targets open-source repositories directly. Because enterprise proprietary code relies heavily on these open-source dependencies, a vulnerability here cascades into a system-wide breach. However, when we introduce Anthropic's $4 million donation, we create a defensive shield. By arming the maintainers, they can patch the open-source repositories before the exploits are weaponized, resulting in a secured supply chain that protects the entire ecosystem. Let's do a deep dive into exactly how this AI hacks so well, using a real-world example, the 16-year-old FFmpeg bug Mythos discovered. FFmpeg is a video library that automated fuzzing tools had tested over 5 million times. Fuzzers throw random data at code hoping for a crash. Mythos, instead, uses semantic reasoning. It read the C code and noticed developers initialized a 16-bit tracking table using the function memset, table -1 size. This sets every byte to hex FF, which equals the integer 65535. The developers used 65535 as a sentinel value, meaning this slot is empty. Mythos understood this logic and mathematically deduced a blind spot. It realized that if an attacker crafted a malicious video with exactly 65,536 slices, the valid slice at index 65,535 would perfectly match the empty sentinel value. The system would bypass its security checks, resulting in a critical out-of-bounds memory write. The AI reasoned through complex human logic flaws that brute force testing missed for 16 years. This graph illustrates the elegant logic of the FFmpeg exploit. On the left, standard code initializes the array to 65535, treating it as a safe placeholder. On the right, the AI attacker crafts a malicious video containing 65,536 slices, specifically generating a valid slice at index 65535. When these two paths meet at the collision check, the software suffers a false positive match. It assumes the valid slice is just the empty placeholder, leading directly to the out-of-bounds memory write and subsequent system crash. This is machine-speed semantic hacking. To orchestrate the defense of the internet, Anthropic launched Project Glasswing. What is it? It's a massive cybersecurity consortium bringing together 12 tech giants like Google, Microsoft, and CrowdStrike alongside more than 40 critical software maintaining organizations. The core objective is to utilize Claude Mythos Preview to scan their foundational systems, uncovering and patching 0 days before malicious actors can exploit them. Why is the $100 million in compute credits so vital? Because having an AI read and deeply analyze millions of lines of code requires massive, expensive computational power. Open source maintainers could never afford this server time on their own. Once a flaw is discovered, it enters a strict 90-day coordinated disclosure window. This gives the maintainers time to silently write, test, and distribute the patch globally. Glasswing is effectively an urgent, AI-powered immunization program for the internet. Here we see the operational flow of Project Glasswing. Claude Mythos Preview sits behind a restricted access gate, feeding its capabilities solely to the consortium of tech giants and OSS maintainers. Both groups run continuous code scans. When a vulnerability is discovered, it immediately enters a 90-day silent patch window. This delay is critical. It ensures the code is fixed globally before transitioning to the final step, coordinated public disclosure, neutralizing the threat before it can be weaponized. Let's look at a real-time use case showing exactly how this donation saves the ecosystem: automated vulnerability triage. Imagine you are a volunteer maintainer for a critical Apache software library. Suddenly, your project is flooded with hundreds of complex, AI-generated bug reports. Human maintainers simply cannot scale to manually read, verify, and fix this volume of code. This is where the Anthropic funding comes in. The maintainers use the cache and compute credits to deploy an autonomous security blueprint pipeline. When a bug report comes in, a defensive instance of Mythos reads it, filters out false positives, and actually attempts to run the exploit in a secure sandbox to verify its severity. If confirmed, the AI autonomously drafts the code patch required to fix it and submits it to the human maintainers for final review. The AI does the heavy lifting, saving thousands of hours of human labor. This sequence diagram illustrates the automated triage pipeline. An external AI scanner submits an overwhelming 1,000 bug reports into the OSS pipeline. Rather than humans reading these, defensive Mythos intercepts them. It filters the noise and tests the claims in a sandbox. Out of 1,000 reports, Mythos surfaces just the 5 verified 0 days directly to the human maintainer, complete with drafted code patches. The human simply reviews the logic and merges the fixes, perfectly scaling human oversight with AI power. This entire event highlights a permanent paradigm shift, the transition to AI-native defense. We are moving from human-speed reactive security to machine-speed proactive defense. Because AI models can map an entire network and execute complex exploit chains in minutes, traditional 30-day patch cycles are obsolete. If you wait 30 days, an agentic hacker has already compromised your system. How do we adapt? Organizations must shift left at AI speed. You must integrate models like Mythos directly into your development pipelines to autonomously attack and break your own code before it ever ships to production. Furthermore, because AI attackers act like highly intelligent digital users, you must enforce strict zero-trust identity boundaries. You need systems that monitor the intent of API calls to isolate rogue AI agents in microseconds. If you don't fight AI with AI, you will lose. Our mind map breaks down the pillars of machine speed defense. At the core, we must adapt. Branching out, we have shift-left AI, focusing on pre-commit scanning and automated patching. Next is zero-trust identity, requiring API intent monitoring and microsecond isolation of rogue agents. Finally, we leverage Glasswing threat intel, utilizing shared adversarial signatures to create a global digital herd immunity against these advanced automated threats. To conclude, Anthropic's $4 million donation to open-source hackers and maintainers is a brilliant, urgent intervention. But we must face reality. Project Glasswing is only buying the world time. The advantage is temporary. Within months to a year, open-weight AI models will inevitably reach parity with proprietary frontier models. When that happens, zero-day discovery capabilities will be completely democratized to any threat actor. We must use this brief window to permanently harden our software architectures. The human role in cybersecurity is shifting from writing manual rules to managing AI governance and complex system design. To master these cutting-edge concepts, secure your infrastructure, and stay ahead in your career, visit quicktechie.com. Join our premium certification prep to access Q&A banks, full ebooks, audiobooks, full-length training, and expert interview guides. Like, subscribe, and secure your future with QuickTechie today. Our final flowchart maps the timeline of our industry. Anthropic's donation and Project Glasswing grant us a temporary defender advantage. We must use this time concurrently to harden OSS infrastructure and deploy AI-native SoCs. These two critical paths converge at the inevitable point where open-weight AI parity is reached. Because we utilized our time effectively, we survived the transition, resulting in a resilient, secure global ecosystem.
To find related ebook and other material for this training course, go to quicktechie.com. Now you will see all the video courses are available here. So let's move to the ebooks. You can go here, ebooks, all AI related ebooks, like you are watching currently Mythos related training. That ebook would be uploaded under this section. You can download this ebook. PDF would be available, all 300-page PDF. So you just click on the download this entire ebook. You can download from this section. So whatever training you are currently listening, corresponding ebook would be available. We have thousands of ebooks available. Now, other than that, we have on video courses which you are watching right now. This also all AI related courses are available. Similarly, for all company related trainings are available, like Microsoft, you can find it here with their respective certification training modules. All exam simulators which would help you to get the certification preparation. Just refresh if you get this kind of error. Okay, so now you can see these are all certification preparation materials. Will also be click here to the NVIDIA certification preparation material. So you can see all NVIDIA certification preparation materials, and click on any of this and it would load the entire screen and you can launch the practice paper. So this is what you can see, that you can submit the answer. We have an audiobooks available. Okay, so for each section, and these are our alumni who can you can find out all alumni who are accessing our portal.